Hey, Lions News Fan Report family. Rev up those engines because today we're peeling back the curtain on a development that could flip our entire defensive outlook on its head. So hit that like button and subscribe if you believe our defense is about to find its missing spark. Have you felt that buzz in the air? That electric current promising a seismic shift in how opposing quarterbacks will view Ford Field? Imagine a player who embodies grit, athleticism, and football IQ all in. One a defender whose return could be the ignition for a unified, relentless front seven. Could this be the moment Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell finally see their blueprint realized? A strategic gamble paying off in real time? Picture our defensive roster this spring. Pro Bowl edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson terrorizing the tackle box. A secondary led by Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch patrolling the back end. And a veteran core anchored by veterans like Kirby Joseph. But notice the glaring question mark at the Sam linebacker spot, where we've lacked that hybrid force able to both set the edge against the run and drop into coverage with equal ferocity. What if I told you that the very player who made that role his own 2 seasons ago is back in the fold, primed to reclaim his throne? Think back to Week 3 of 2024, when Derek Barnes blazing onto the scene as an undrafted underdog turned defensive. Revelation was lighting up stat sheets with tackles for loss, quarterback pressures, and that uncanny knack for sniffing out screens and crossing routes. He wasn't just chasing running backs. He was erasing passing lanes, disrupting timing, and turning routine plays into highlight reel chaos. Then came that drill tackle that jarred his knee and sent him packing for the season, leaving the Detroit faithful wondering what might have been. Fast forward to today, and that same ferocious competitor has rehabbed like a man possessed, returning stronger, hungrier, and more determined than ever to prove that last year's setback was nothing but fuel for a comeback blaze. Could his renewed burst off the ball change how offenses scheme against us? Will his reintroduction to the lineup force opponents to game plan around him, opening lanes for Hutchinson to feast or creating turnover opportunities for our ballhawks? And what if his presence elevates the play of everyone around him? Talents like Nick Bonito and veteran depth pieces suddenly finding new confidence knowing Barnes can cover them when they're caught in a bind? Imagine the psychological edge of rolling out a front seven that boasts enterprise-tested stars and a revitalized Barnes who knows every inch of this defense's playbook, who has built chemistry with secondary teammates in drills, and who has earned the trust of coaches and teammates alike. Could this be the defining chapter for Kelvin Shepard's revamped scheme? The moment when schematic concepts click because you have the perfect chess piece in the right spot? And what about the ripple effect across the league when word gets out that Detroit isn't just bringing back any linebacker, but a Swiss Army knife athlete who can stun on one snap, drop into tight zone coverage the next, and then blitz free as a coach's nightmare? Is Brad Holmes ready to double down on that dynamic versatility, banking on a 3-year extension to yield dividends far beyond any contract number? As we edge closer to training camp, every rep Barnes takes in pads will be under a microscope. Will he dominate the one-on-ones? Will he outmuscle running backs in goal line drills? Will he lock down Tays in space? Each of those answers carries potential consequences, not just for the Week 1 lineup card, but for the swagger and identity of our entire defense. And if Barnes truly recaptures that rookie magic with an added layer of veteran savvy, could we be staring down the barrel of a unit so fearsome that opposing offensive coordinators will spend their offseason drafting new game plans just to survive 4 quarters in Detroit? There's a cliffhanger hanging over this entire saga. When the whistles blow on opening day, will Derek Barnes' return be the catalyst that vaults this defense from good to downright terrifying? Or will he need a few games to rediscover the form that once made him the talk of the league? Stay locked in, because if you think you've seen what Lions football feels like, get ready to experience a whole new level of roar. Asterisk, if you believe the Lions are finally ready to roar. Hit that like and let's finish what we started. Picture this. It's Week 5 in Detroit. The stands at Ford Field trembling with anticipation as Derek Barnes storms off the edge, his eyes locked on the quarterback like a hawk zeroing in on its prey. Suddenly, the offense is carefully drawn. Protection scheme unravels under the weight of a defender who knows every nuance of the playbook, every tell of an opposing lineman's stance. And in that split second, the Lions' identity shifts from opportunistic underdog to outright predator, the kind of unit that inspires whispered dread in visiting locker rooms. Imagine how this move reverberates beyond one snap. Opposing coordinators spend their Tuesday mornings rewriting game plans, churning out extra film sessions to try and soothe their offensive lines. Back in 1991, our Silver Rush motto felt like a long-forgotten echo until that defense coalesced and led us to glory. Now Barnes could be the bridge between past legend and present promise, the key that finally unlocks a season of defensive dominance. For fans who remember the sting of last year's blown coverages and fourth-quarter collapses, seeing Barnes back in peak form would feel like a balm and a battle cry all at once, proof that this front office doesn't just dream. In blue and silver, it executes. Think about the emotional charge of those sideline huddles. When a Hayden Hutchinson snaps his jaw guard in white-knuckle fury after a strip sack, he'll know Barnes is in his corner, ready to plug gaps or shadow a tight end cruising across the hash marks. Picture Brian Branch stalking the backfield, eyes glinting with confidence because he trusts the linebacker behind him to clean up any mess. That interlock of Rose Edge, linebacker, secondary transforms our defense into a nearly unbreakable chain, each link forged in Ford Field fire. What if Barnes' return does more than shore up our run fits and blitz angles? What if it becomes the pulse that electrifies the locker room culture? Imagine rookies watching him in walkthroughs, absorbing his tenacity and professionalism, then channeling that same intensity when the lights come on. Picture veteran linebackers offering advice, not just because of his undrafted origins, but because now he stands as a testament to resilience, a symbol that even when the world writes you off, you can come back stronger. Contrast this with the tides of division rivals. Recall how Minnesota's defense stuttered when their hybrid linebacker went down, or how Chicago's pass rush sputtered without that chess-piece presence. Detroit's chance to leap ahead hinges on Barnes proving healthier, hungrier, and more versatile than any counterpart in the NFC North. If he delivers on that promise, he won't just earn Pro Bowl votes. He'll redefine how offenses perceive our entire front seven, turning pre-snap formations into opportunities for carnage. Now, let's go beyond the X's and O's. Think of the roar that will shake the stadium when Barnes guns it off the snap for a strip fumble, then bounces to his feet, clutching the football in a triumphant howl. Think of the viral highlight reels of him thwarting a 2-minute drill, guns down a slant route, and dragging down a scrambling quarterback with textbook precision. Those moments don't just win games, they forge legends. They become the stories families tell around grills on autumn Sundays, imprinting this season in the hearts of every lion-hearted supporter. But here's the real crux. When training camp breaks into preseason, every sideline shake of Barnes' head, every practice angle he takes against the scout team will carry meaning. Will he explode in his first padded rep, reminding coaches why they bet on him with that 3-year deal? Will he flash the same agility and coverage that once made him a nightmare for tight ends and running backs alike? Each answer writes the next chapter of a narrative that began with hope, stalled with injury, and now surges forward with a renewed roar. As the calendar flips to September, Detroit's defense stands at a crossroads. Maintain status quo or seize this moment to build something legendary. If Barnes reclaims his rightful place as our Swiss Army knife defender, then everything changes. This team won't just be contending for a wild card spot. It will be announcing itself as a force to be reckoned with, a defense capable of seeding playoff dreams and silencing doubters with thunderous style. So here's the question that hangs over us all. When Barnes steps onto that sod, will he launch a new era of Lions football, one defined by fearlessness, unity, and an unbreakable roar? Or will we look back and wonder what might have been? The answer lies just beyond the horizon. But trust me, Lions News Fan Report will be right there, capturing every heartbeat of this unfolding saga.